So for an entire decade, I was addicted to video games, smoking weed most of the days, social media, all of these different things that are pretty common. And looking back, I've identified a few different things that ultimately set me up to eventually beat these different vices and addictions. And so today I want to share with you a few different things that really changed that for me and how you can set yourself up to break these different patterns. I think the first important thing to realize is that you can create anything that you want. And for myself, for a long time I didn't really understand that. And so I thought we were just in a pinball machine bouncing all over the place. We didn't have there was no real meaning to my life. I didn't really have a sense of purpose. I didn't know, where I was going. And if you don't know where you are going, you wander. You just drift around and you're essentially lost. You have to understand that you can pretty much realize anything as long as you keep growing and you identify what your bottlenecks are at every level. Napoleon Hill even says this in his books after researching and interviewing all of the richest people alive at that time, where the most important character trait of a person that lives a great life and that becomes highly successful is being a non-drifter, being someone who has a definite purpose. And as long as you don't identify that, you're not going to be able to bear the burden and bear the pain of what is going to come your way. That brings us nicely to the second point, which is, now that we have gotten clear on our purpose, we've identified, the bigger vision of what we want to create. If you need help with that, join the school community. We have an entire module on this. Then the second step is becoming comfortable in the uncomfortable. You see, once you have the vision, if you then keep going back to the thing that broke you in the first place, and once again, speaking from experience, this is what I did for a long time. This happens because you do have the vision now, but you encounter pain along the way. You encounter setbacks along the way. You encounter many challenges, and at that moment you have two options. You can either escape the pain, or you can sit in the pain. Now what most people do, and this is why they don't progress, is that they decide to escape that pain with the things that broke them, with their vices. And so when things get difficult, that is when they'll start drinking the alcohol. This is when they'll start, smoking the weed, taking the drugs, because they want to numb themselves from the pain of whatever they're encountering. You have to understand that as long as you keep facing the pain with escapist behavior, with your vices, you're not going to learn and you're not going to grow past the pain. Because as long as you avoid the pain with your vices, you're not going to work through the problem. You're just going to distract yourself from the problem and stay stuck in the exact same cycle. Now here's the real secret with this. When you get present for the pain and you get used to not as avoiding the present moment, no matter what the conditions are in the present moment, and you just sit in the present moment with complete and utter presence, completely accepting whatever comes your way, you progress laser fast. I'm telling you, you progress 100 times faster than these people who every time go back to their distraction. Because when you force yourself to sit in the pain, then you'll start to train your brain to work through it as fast as possible. Because it's not like like pain. That's why we avoid the pain with devices in the first place. But in actuality, if you can train yourself to not avoid the pain with escapist behavior, but sit through the pain, then the only option that is left for the brain to avoid the pain is to solve it. And so this is why you see when people invest all of their time and energy into one problem, no matter how painful it is, and they avoid all the other bullshit, they start to progress crazy fast. Because that's where the real breakthroughs lie. You see this with all the great thinkers. All great thinkers in history, they have at one point sought solitude, meditation, fasting, prayer. These are all things to get closer to God and to sit in silence. And I really want to challenge you to realize that any condition that you are going through right now is just an illusion. It's just a present from your past self to experience your present self to its fullest and bring your soul into full expression. That is all it is. It is just a test for you to grow. It's not some huge burden. And if you can accept every burden as being a huge blessing, you see it as a huge blessing, then it will be a blessing. And as long as you see any type of problem in your life right now as a confirmation of anything other than you being challenged to experience your full self, then it's going to be much more difficult to see the solution to it, because you won't take ownership of whatever is in your vicinity. And no matter how minute the impact you might have had on something, or you could have had on something, you have had a say in this, no matter how small it might be. And if you can identify that in every single situation and understand that you have full control over everything that's happening around you, the more powerful you'll be. So, hope this is helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever, because apparently I explain things too difficult. And I'll see you tomorrow.